G'day all, Sandbagger here from the Replica Prop Forum and the 405th Infantry Division. Just wanted to talk to you about what's been taking so long on the Iron Man helmet. This is an all steel construction, and I'd just like to encourage a lot of you to include other people when things become beyond your expertise. Don't be embarrassed or shy about it. Just ask around. There's a lot of people who are willing to jump on board. Especially in this case when the cause is for kids' hospitals. And so I've asked around the internet, and I was put in contact with a man by the name of James. And James is a bit of a whiz with electronics, and I'm an absolute numpty with electronics. Positive and negative, that's me. Other than that, I'm lost. So what I've asked for here is for James to go into the helmet for me. And I've given him a few things that I'd like and some parameters I've set, and then let James kind of run with it. But I've asked for the lighting. I want the eyes completely filled with the light. I don't want the narrow slots underneath to look through because my view is so limited. And when you're walking around kids' hospital beds and there's dialysis machines and cables and life support hanging around everywhere, you really don't want to be tripping over stuff you can't see. So I've included a wide-angle camera. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to walking around with a little bit of a distorted view, but at least I can see my feet and everything else around me. Just having a look inside here. Okay, what we've got there is the HD video goggles inside, which hook up to that camera and give me the view. I've got a motor on the side there with relays, and that's hooked up to the mechanism up there that winds the hinge up and down for the faceplate. When the faceplate comes up and down, there's a micro switch. Where are you? Can't remember where you are. There you are. There's a micro switch just under there. So when the faceplate comes down, the eyes come on. There's a power regulator supply just up there for the video camera and the goggles. I've got another micro switch on a straw here, which is lip activated, and that turns on the relays and the micro switches on and off for the up and down on the hinges. And on the hinges over here, I've got a micro switch there for the downstroke and a micro switch there for the upstroke. And on the back of the top hinge, there's a little cam. You can't really see it, but it's behind that nut. And when it goes all the way up, the cam comes around and hits that micro switch to tell the motors to stop. If the motor doesn't get the signal to stop from a micro switch, that's what happens, and it completely strips it out. So you need to have some really good positioning on those micro switches so that it stops when it's supposed to. That's a Bowden cable, which is something that comes out of a speedometer in a car. The motor there is 6 volt and puts up the faceplate in about 3 to 4 seconds. And got speakers going in here soon, so I can hear better. One, I can't hear very well anyway. My hearing's not great from years of gunfire and aircraft aircraft noise. And that's going to give me probably better hearing than most people would have normally, with any luck. That will be connected up to a microphone somewhere in the chest piece somewhere, so I can pick up noise around me. I'll also have a microphone somewhere down here and a sound card and a speaker so that I can change my voice a little bit into a bit more robotic. That's to come. I've got a fan in there, gives me circulation for breathing through this little mesh vent here. Also defogs the faceplate. It sends the air straight up the front of my face. Probably might make me feel a little bit better when I'm getting a bit hot and sweaty too inside the suit. This little switch here is the dimmer switch for the lights. And there's a few other bits and pieces going in, but one thing here to note is your scaling for your head size is absolutely critical. You've got to remember you've got to get your head in there comfortably without squeezing on your cheekbones and such, but you've got to have room not only for your electronics and wiring but for things to move. So you really don't want these hinges moving up and down your face, scratching the side of your head, and the motor winding up and pulling on your chin whiskers, especially when you've got your Tony Stark do going. So yeah, I'll just flip her over. Obviously the faceplate's not going to work because I've broken that cable and I have to replace it, but there's the eyes on, and underneath the chin here's a dimmer, so there we go. Nighttime, daytime. I don't know if you've seen that video. Had to be there. Anyway, folks, have a good one. Keep going. Keep sharing your techniques. Keep sharing your files. Keep sharing your secrets, because all of this goes towards making better cosplay for more people, and just gives everybody more scope to get greater ideas and share it amongst the community. So I'm just repaying everybody by sharing what I've done, because I couldn't have done this without you guys. Anyway, cheers. God bless.